New Nordic.
The first major winter storm of the season having its way with much of the West Coast.
From Seattle all the way down to the San Francisco Bay Area, the so-called bomb cyclone is slamming the region. Northern areas are being hit the hardest, and the rain in Northern California will last into the weekend. Dave Canny with Pacific Gas and Electric.
We're prepared to respond should outage activity pick up over the course of the day and into tomorrow.
In Washington state, nearly 500,000 people are without power. Alex Stone, ABC News.
In Columbia, South Carolina,
Susan Smith is denied parole. The vote is unanimous.
South Carolina's parole board denying parole for Susan Smith. In 1994, she rolled her car, 2 young sons inside, into a lake. The boys drowned. Smith falsely claimed she'd been carjacked by a black man. She addressed the parole board.
I didn't lie to get away with it. I really didn't. I was just scared. I didn't know how I could tell the people that loved them that they would never see them again.
David Smith, ex-husband and father to the children, also addressing the parole board in South Carolina.
I miss them very much, and I love them very much. And I will be here every 2 years going forward.
MIT, the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, announced that starting in 2025, it will waive tuition for undergraduates from families earning less than $200,000 a year. I'm Richard Cantu, ABC News.
Do you hear that? Asthma triggers are everywhere, from dust mites, pet dander, and pollen, to smog and smoke. An asthma attack can strike anywhere, anytime. Be prepared with quick-acting Primatene Mist. Clinically proven to open airways quickly. It's the #1 FDA-approved asthma inhaler available over the counter. Primatene Mist. Breathe easy again. Use as directed.
News Talk 610 AM and 102.1 FM. KBNU.
I'm Gil Walter, KBNU News. News brought to you by Dr. Keith Nelson. The Utah School and Institutional Trust Lands Administration announced last week it will distribute more than $117.9 million to its 12 beneficiaries for the upcoming fiscal year, with public schools receiving the bulk of the funds. Utah State University Trust will also receive just under $500,000. Public schools are set to receive $111.3 million, a significant increase of more than $5 million from last year. The organization oversees 3.3 million acres of trust lands in Utah and generates revenue through activities such as energy production, real estate development, and surface resource management. The agency also focuses on stewardship to ensure the long-term sustainability of the land. Established by the Utah legislature in 1994, the Trust Lands Administration was created to focus on maximizing revenue from these lands. At its inception, the permanent trust balance was approximately $50 million. Since then, the fund has grown to an estimated $3.6 billion. Some lawmakers are looking at who should be making the rules when it comes to Utah's air quality standards. Leaders of the Utah Department of Environmental Quality appeared before the Utah State Legislature's Federalism Commission on Tuesday, where they discussed pending air quality regulations. Some proposed rules include restrictions on certain types of equipment, for example, two-stroke engines and newer gasoline standards. But some lawmakers questioned why the Utah Air Quality Board is imposing regulations instead of elected lawmakers. The legislature does vote to authorize administrative rules that a state agency advances. When it comes to air quality, Utah has consistently faced scrutiny from the federal government and been in and out of attainment of EPA standards. But Bryce Bird, the director of Utah's Division of Air Quality, told the commission that Utah has made improvements. When it comes to federal environmental standards, some members of the Federalism Commission envision a friendlier White House. Dita Seed with the Center for Biological Diversity said lawmakers may face public pushback if they try to loosen air quality standards. She pursued litigation against the EPA for not holding Utah accountable for bad air days. And UDOT is sharing how it prepares for challenging winter driving conditions after a series of crashes along I-15, including a deadly accident, took place as black ice was reported on the roads. Early Tuesday morning, drivers were caught off guard by the black ice on I-15. John Gleason with UDOT explained that while snow is easier to predict, black ice is far more challenging. Gleason said that whether or not there's actually snow falling, there's moisture in the air a lot of the times, and when the temperatures dip, as they did Tuesday morning, there's a good chance you're going to see icy, slick conditions out there. UDOT uses a team of meteorologists to track weather patterns and inform street crews when conditions warrant a response. Sometimes that is a call for treatment, and other times, plows. Gleason emphasized that early morning drivers in particular need to be vigilant as the risk of black ice is becoming more common. Congratulations to Brian Davies, our latest Above and Beyond Salute winner from Firehouse Subs. A citizen nominated Brian, saying his 20 years as a firefighter has been beyond exceptional. They also noted how he recently deployed to Tennessee to help hurricane victims. To say thanks, we gave him a $40 gift card to Firehouse Subs. Submit your nominations for the Above and Beyond Salute by visiting KBNUtalk.com. Our forecast for tonight, looking for mostly cloudy skies and a low in the upper 20s, and then mostly sunny on Thursday. High temperature around 51. Sunny to partly cloudy on Friday, and 55 for the high before storminess is set to begin on Saturday with rain showers, a good possibility. Get more news at CashValleyDaily.com.
Hi, I'm Dr. Keith Nelson, board-certified, fellowship-trained orthopedic surgeon, and I want to restore your active, pain-free life. I've been an innovator in the treatment of knee pain caused by arthritis and sports injuries for 27 years. I'm the only surgeon in northern Utah to offer Omnibotics, a robotic-assisted knee replacement for your arthritic knee, which has a 97% patient satisfaction rate. Don't live with your knee pain another day. Visit drkeithnelsonortho.com. That's drkeithnelsonortho.com.
Dr. Nelson accepts most insurances, including select health plans.
The station for Grizzly basketball on News Talk KVNU, 610 AM and 102 FM.
I'm Larry Gelwicks, the getaway guru for Morris Columbus Travel and Norwegian Cruise Line. It's Black Friday deals with cruise discounts, a free air promotion, up to $200 free spending money on board, and on select cruises, the third and fourth person sharing your cabin sail absolutely free. You just pay the taxes when you book with Morris Columbus Travel.
Come on and get away, Morris Columbus.
Hi, this is Scott Howder with White Pine Funeral Services. We are excited to host our annual holiday concert featuring a choir and a musical ensemble by Jay Richards on Wednesday, December 4th. All are welcome to attend free of charge, and we'd like to extend a special invite to those who are missing a loved one this holiday season. Food donations are encouraged at the door for the Cash Food Pantry. The holiday concert will be held at White Pine Funeral Home on Wednesday, December 4th at 7 p.m. Please visit whitepinefunerals.com for more information.
Here when you need us most.
Hey, HR directors, open enrollment is right around the corner. It's time for a fresh look at your employee benefits. This is Matt Robbins with Quality First Insurance and Alera Benefits. We are a local agency with national resources and multiple options. Give us a call. You got nothing to lose and everything to gain. Call Quality First Insurance and Alera Benefits today, 435-752-0101.
Fall is here. Winter is on the way. And while the fields may be quiet, the work never stops. Cash Equipment is your partner through every season, offering Kubota, AGCO, and Massey Ferguson machinery. Right now is the perfect time to service your equipment, and the expert service team at Cash Equipment is here to help. Whether you're maintaining land, handling livestock, or already preparing for spring, Cash Equipment is here all year to support you with reliable parts and equipment. In Hyde Park and online at cashequipment.com.
Welcome back to KVN News for the People. Forgot to turn my own microphone on. It's been one of those days. Hour 2 of today's show. Quick reminder for listeners, a bonus hour, at least that's what I'm calling it, for the people tonight, and it's actually not. We have a direct link with Governor Cox, a rural call-in show that happens on the regular for the last several years. Will be hosted from our own studio tonight, but also noting Governor Cox was unavailable last minute, so taking his spot for the Direct Link event tonight that they'll broadcast here on KVNU 6 to 7 p.m. with me moderating and you, hopefully, supplying the questions. We will have House Speaker Mike Schultz. This is a great opportunity to look ahead at the upcoming legislative session. Any and all topics are fair game. Quick note as well for our regular listeners, you will not use our 753-5868 studio line to call in because this is a statewide rural area broadcast. There's a special 800 number that we'll throw out right as the program begins at 6 o'clock. So, again, the listeners drive the conversation. House Speaker Mike Schultz will be the guest. I'll be there just to keep time and interrupt him for breaks. And your questions on any and all topics, legislative session-wise, are fair game. So that's coming up at 6 o'clock, right as For the People ends. Kicking off hour 2 of today's show with another special guest here in the studio. We opened the show with Logan City Mayor Holly Daines and Public Works Director Paul Linhart talking about this controversy over some trees that need to come down for a big water project. But now we're going to shift gears because it is the giving season. We've talked about it in some way or another on every show this week so far, and we'll keep that going through the next several weeks. I'm happy today to be able to spotlight one of my favorites, though, the Cash Education Foundation, and they're hosting their 10th annual Christmas Tree Jubilee next week. And joining us right now here in the studio, Director of the Foundation, Teri Lewis. And Teri, appreciate you doing this. Also on short notice, we just reached out yesterday and said, hey, can you come in and talk to us a little bit about this? And you said, okay, fine.
No worries. Happy to help.
I always forget that for me, radio is an everyday kind of thing. I forget that for everyone else, it's sometimes for some people once in a lifetime kind of thing. And then they come in and we sort of rush them into a chair, throw some headphones on them, and then there's some sounds play and we start talking. But I appreciate you doing this because the work of the Cash Education Foundation is important. And maybe before we get to the specifics of the upcoming Jubilee fundraiser, you can talk about that a little bit. What is the Cash Education Foundation and how did it come to be?
Well, excuse me, the Cash Education Foundation was founded in 1988, and the mission is to help the Cache County School District with non-consumable resources that help with student learning.
Sure.
For example, we fund a lot of items like books, Chromebooks, manipulatives that help students learn. As you know, many students learn in different ways, and so it's great to have a variety of resources in each classroom. Sure. And the state funds don't really cut it, so we're here to fill in the gaps. We're here to make a difference so that teachers can teach with what they need, and students can definitely have the resources they need to learn.
And this is, something that's it's easy for these types of needs to slip through the cracks, right?
Absolutely. But, as we've been around, this is our 36th year.
Wow.
We have made some wonderful partnerships with businesses in the Valley and local people who really care about education. They want all students to be successful because they're our future. They'll be the foundation for the next leaders of our community and
Sure.
state and nation. So education is important.
That's why it's so cool to see community members step up like this to provide, assistance in the classroom. And again, as Teri mentioned, this is for non-consumable supplemental necessities, if you will, in the classroom that are tailored towards each individual student's learning needs. And Teri, it's also worth mentioning this as well. When it comes to the work of the Cash Education Foundation, a lot of these needs aren't known until the school year gets underway. They can't be, planned for by the legislature or even sometimes by the district, but school gets underway and suddenly you realize you've got a student with a need of some sort that's going to really help their education. And that's where the foundation can step in and say, here you go. Right?
Absolutely. In fact, we just finished reviewing our Tools for Schools grant requests. So we had just about 1,000 requests from our teachers that totaled over $283,000.
Wow.
So the first week of December, we'll be delivering those grant requests. And it's amazing.
Very cool.
You may not know, but we hold an annual golf tournament, and that's where we raise the funds for this particular grant program. So we appreciate all the golfers and all the whole sponsors and anyone who comes out to volunteer. Those funds 100% go right into our classrooms in the Cache County School District.
This is, again, entirely dependent on community support to make this happen every year. The Cache Education Foundation, with that in mind, hosting their 10th annual Christmas Tree Jubilee. And this is being presented by DWA Construction as a major sponsor, and hats off to them for doing that. But again, this is your opportunity to help the work of the Cache Education Foundation, critical work, and also enjoy yourself. The event is coming up at, well, first off, let's mention this. All of these are considered donations. So purchase of a ticket is a tax-deductible donation. So that's something to keep in mind as well. And 100% of the proceeds benefit classrooms in Cache County School District. So with that in mind, you can get out Monday, November 25th for the 10th annual Christmas Tree Jubilee. And Teri, for those who haven't been before or haven't heard everyone talk about it after the fact before, explain to us what a Jubilee is, a Christmas Tree Jubilee is.
Well, first of all, it's just a celebration. We want all the community to come together and celebrate education and raise funds in the process. This Jubilee specifically raises funds for technology in the Cache County School District, as well as supporting unified sports in the Cache County School District. So you've heard the term inclusion is the revolution, or revolution is inclusion.
Sure.
That's a wonderful motto. We want to support those participating in the Special Olympics, specifically unified sports, where they're able to play sports with persons of all abilities, and those students feel included, and it's just a great time. We also want those students to be able to take their T-shirts or medals or uniforms home with them,
Sure,
so that they can remember that.
It's part of the fun, right?
Yeah.
For the kids.
That's a wonderful success for them, and we want them to have those opportunities. And then, of course, technology is a huge need. It seems to be, 5 years and a Chromebook is out of date already. So,
Literally.
So we've been helping the Cache County School District with technology needs.
It's critical work. And again, as Teri mentioned, this is state funding doesn't cover it. A lot of these needs pop up last minute in some cases, but this is all towards improving the environment for each individual student so they can learn better in school. So the teachers are there doing what they do, but sometimes there are needs that can create obstacles for an individual child, and that's where the Cache Education Foundation comes in. The Christmas Tree Jubilee, again, is Monday, November 25th. You can get tickets. It's really easy. Visit the Cache Education Foundation website, which is CEF for Cache Education Foundation, CEFUT for Utah, CEFUT.org. Click on events, and you'll see a donation button and a ticket purchase button there. And now these are limited in number, but Teri, there is a VIP ticket available that includes some extra bells and whistles, right?
Yes. So first of all, our the event from 2 to 6 p.m. is just free to the public. They can come in and look at the trees that will be auctioned off later that evening, and also we will have all sorts of different sizes of decorated trees that people can buy and take home.
Very nice.
Right then, from 2 to 6 p.m. It'll be free. We have Santa
Oh, so
there.
we're talking pre-decorated.
Yes.
That's convenient.
Yeah, so you can come in.
That should draw a crowd in and of itself.
And, we'll have porch trees. People love to decorate. It's a wonderful time of year, so they
Sure.
can just purchase that and take it with them. Santa will be there from 3 to 6 p.m. We will also have musical numbers from school choirs and other school programs there during the 2 to 6 p.m. event.
Very nice.
And then we shut down at 6, and then the VIP event, which is $25 a ticket, starts at 6:30. And that's where we'll have some hors d'oeuvres and drinks, and then a live auction of professionally decorated trees that are around 7.5 to 8 feet tall.
Very nice. This is so a couple of different ways you can get more information if you need some in advance. CEF at netwasatch.com or call 755-2022. But everything you need to know, again, is the event, the public event, 2 to 6 p.m. at Riverwoods Conference Center, Monday, November 25th, the 10th annual Cash Education Foundation Christmas Tree Jubilee presented by DWA Construction. Again, that's 2 to 6 p.m. You'll have an opportunity to shop for trees and wreaths. And then a $25 VIP ticket gets you into an event starting at 6:30 with hors d'oeuvres and live auction at 7 p.m. for additional items. And again, all of this, 100% of it goes to support the Cash Education Foundation's ongoing work via scholarships, grants, awards, and more, even grants for teachers over the years, art education programs. Please, even if you can't attend the Jubilee or it's just not your thing, donate. Big donate button right there at the Cash Education Foundation website, cefut.org, which I've linked to on the Facebook page. You can also, this is interesting, you can support ongoing work like this via special license plates you can get for your car. There's information about that at the Cash Education Foundation website, and you can even set up a regular payroll deduction donation. That's in addition to, as Teri mentioned, their annual golf tournament. And I want to throw this out because I flow in the business community. If you're a business owner out there and you're looking to, not only advertise your business, obviously, but do something good for the community, step up as a business partner with the Cash Education Foundation. And there's information on how to do that as well as volunteer your time individually at CEF, Cash Education Foundation, cefut.org. And one more time, the Jubilee is the 10th annual Jubilee, Christmas Tree Jubilee, Monday, November 25th, 2 to 6 p.m. at Riverwoods Conference Center. It's free to the public. You can leave with a pre-decorated tree. I think that's something that's going to draw a crowd. And also support the work of the Cash Education Foundation. Our guest again has been Teri Lewis, director of the foundation. And Teri, thank you for your time today. And even more importantly, thank you for the work you and your whole team do through this foundation to support kids and teachers and schools here in Cache Valley.
Well, thank you, and a big shout out to our board of directors and advisors who make this happen.
Sure. It's critical work. And again, your opportunity to support this work. More information on both the Jubilee, other projects, other ways you can get involved, again, at cefut.org. Thanks to Teri for stopping by. Thanks to our listeners for being here as well. Stick around. More For the People to come right after this.
Talk 610 AM, 102.1 FM, KVNU.
Utah State University's Sorensen Center for Clinical Excellence provides exceptional mental health services to residents throughout the state of Utah. Sign up now for a free single-session consultation for a brief mental health check-in or explore our various mental health service lines to receive ongoing specialized therapy services. Clinicians are licensed professionals or pre-professionals overseen by faculty experts. Visit cehs.usu.edu/SCCE for more information. That's cehs.usu.edu/SCCE.
Thanks for our amazing customers and team. Country Village Antique Mall is the silver winner for the antiques and collectibles in the 2024 Best of Northern Utah. We appreciate your support.
Clean it up and get it out before the snow flies. Don't wait another winter. Let DD Auto and Salvage pay you for that junk vehicle. DD Auto and Salvage makes it so easy and fast to get rid of your junker vehicles by paying you the most money possible. Pickup is available. If you have metal, DD Auto and Salvage in Logan wants to pay you today. Call 787-1204. That's 787-1204 today. See store for details.
Thanks again to Teri Lewis of the Cash Education Foundation for stopping by. More information on next week's Christmas Tree Jubilee, a fundraiser for the foundation doing critical work in Cash classrooms at cefut.org. If you can't make the Jubilee or it's not your thing, other ways you can get involved and help, and please do. Also, thanks to Terry for doing that on short notice. Reminder, coming up at 6 o'clock tonight, it is the direct link, normally direct link with Governor Cox. He's not available this evening, so House Speaker Mike Schultz is stepping in. This is a rural Utah-focused event. Call-in show. We'll have an 800 number we'll announce at 6 o'clock, different from our regular studio line. Keep that in mind. And Cache Valley residents, we hope you drive this conversation. It's the opportunity for focusing on rural issues as with Speaker Schultz taking the microphone tonight here with me moderating. It's your opportunity to ask questions of the upcoming legislative session specific. I mean, it can be water, it can be housing, it can be social policy, it can be funding, it can be anything you want to talk about. But it's your opportunity to ask questions unscripted. I'm just here to keep time and interrupt the Speaker of the House to go to breaks. And other than that, it is your time to ask questions. Direct link with House Speaker Mike Schultz filling in for Governor Cox this month, coming up at 6 o'clock here on KVNU. But stick around. We have more of our regular For the People programming coming up after this quick look at the news with KVNU's Bill Walter.
Thank you, Jason. KVNU News is brought to you by Logan Extermination. A regional public health department in Idaho is no longer providing COVID-19 vaccines to residents in 6 counties after a narrow decision by its board. Southwest District Health appears to be the first in the nation to be restricted from giving COVID-19 vaccines. Vaccinations are an essential function of a public health department. The 6-county district along the Idaho-Oregon border includes 3 counties in the Boise metropolitan area. The board chairman and the department's medical director are worried that the vaccine won't be as easily available for older residents, people who are homeless, and others. The Boston Bruins will try to stop a 3-game losing streak when they play the Utah Hockey Club on Thursday evening at 5 in Beantown. Utah Hockey Club is 7-8-3 in the Central Division. The Boston Bruins 8-9-3 in the Atlantic Division. And the LPGA Tour will play for $127.5 million in official prize money in 2025, another record for the circuit that has worked independently of the PGA Tour for 75 years. The schedule announced today at the season-ending CME Group Tour Championship in Naples, Florida, has a few moving parts that include new tournaments in Utah and Mexico, the end of a 40-year run in Ohio, and its Founders Cup merging into a previous tournament. The official prize money does not include the $2 million International Crown, held every 2 years as the only team event in golf where countries compete against each other, and the $2 million Grant Thornton Invitational, a mixed team event with the PGA Tour. KVNU weather brought to you by Mount Logan Laundry with their 55 and 80-pound washers to make your stay much shorter in Logan and Brigham City. Mostly cloudy tonight, low in the upper 20s, and then sunny into the low 50s, around 51 on Thursday, sunny and around 55 on Friday. Get more news at CacheValleyDaily.com.
ABC News, I'm Richard Cantu. Own an iPhone, iPad, or Mac? Apple says update your operating system right now.
There is a security flaw that may have been actively exploited. Apple has just released what is called a zero-day patch. The flaw was uncovered by Google's threat analysis group, which focuses on countering targeted and government-backed hacking. Apple, without giving details, says the issue may have been actively exploited.
ABC's Alex Stone. Still unclear if House Speaker Mike Johnson will allow a vote on a measure barring trans women from using women's restrooms in the Capitol. The House about to get its first trans woman member. Johnson notes members have their own private restrooms. The New Orleans-based federal appeals court continues to block Louisiana's bid to require all public schools in the state to post the Christian 10 Commandments in every classroom. A lower court called the requirement overtly religious. This is ABC News.
For some, this is the most wonderful time of the year. Yippee! For me, it's the worst time of the year because it's time to hang my Christmas lights. Come on! Last year, I fell off my ladder into the rose bush. The year before, my lights didn't work at all. Not this year. I'm using Logan Extermination. They can install my own Christmas lights, or they can install their LED or incandescent lights. Enjoy the holidays and preserve your sanity by calling Logan Extermination. 752-8450.
This is Jay with Daryl's Appliance. I have some breaking news. Black Friday pricing has started at Daryl's Appliance. For a limited time, double dip and get our exclusive mail-in rebates and save up to $1,000 on appliance packages from your favorite brands. Plus, you can triple dip with Daryl's exclusive 2-year warranty on all appliances delivered and installed by Daryl's. Daryl's Black Friday sale. See store for details. Daryl's West on Airport Road, open until 6 p.m. on weekdays, 5 on Saturday.
Not sure what to give for a holiday gift for family or employees? How about a gift card to Beehive Pub and Grill? Receive a voucher for a free gelato with a $25 gift card purchase, or a voucher for a free burger or sandwich of your choice with a $50 gift card purchase. Take care of your coworkers, employees, and family with a gift card from Beehive Pub and Grill. Open 11 to 8:30 weekdays and 11 to 9 Friday and Saturday. Beehive Pub and Grill is perfect for the holidays.
With the arrival of fall, potential heavy rainstorms, fallen leaves, and debris, the Cache Stormwater Coalition would like to remind you of a few things to be mindful of. Clean out all the leaves and debris from your rain gutters. Use a broom or rake to remove leaves and debris from the top of storm drains, as clogged storm drains can lead to flooding. Don't keep piles of yard waste in your yard, on the sidewalk, or street. Use a green waste recycle bin, and check with your local city office on where to place collected leaves for pickup. And when it snows, remember to keep the snow away from curb and gutter and storm drains. We can all make a difference if we do our part. Brought to you by the Cache Stormwater Coalition.
25 NCAA championships, 18 conference championships.
And the Aggies are going dancing.
10 tournament championships.
The Aggies are pulling out the scissors, and they're going to cut down the nest.
Our winning culture continues. Our Utah State Aggies play here on the Aggie Sports Network.
Pre-game begins 1 hour before tip-off. Don't miss game day on your home of the Aggies. News Talk KVNU.
Welcome back to KVN News. Welcome back to KVN News for the People. A reminder, coming up at 6 o'clock tonight, you can look at this as a bonus hour of For the People if you want, a special 3-hour show. We are honored to be the official hosts of this semi-regular throughout the year, though a little less this year with it being an election year, Direct Link event. This was started years ago by Governor Cox, who felt that the Speak to the Governor segment each month and other events were too Salt Lake City centered. Governor Cox wanted to branch out literally in whenever possible himself to go to rural areas like Rich County, Garfield County, places like that, Cache County, places off of the Wasatch Front and outside of Salt Lake County. And he is Governor Cox, he is held to that commitment, hosting these direct link events where your calls drive the conversation on the regular. Again, a bit less this year than in previous years due to the election, but still happening. And tonight at 6 o'clock, we will kick off what will only be the second direct link event this year, with a promise to return to a more regular schedule next year. But one catch. Governor Cox isn't available, so tonight's direct link event, which is normally direct link with Governor Cox, will be direct link with House Speaker Mike Schultz. Schultz has served as House Speaker now. He just got reelected to his, I believe, second term as House Speaker. He's been in the Utah House for many more years than that, even as a representative. And we'll be talking to him about all kinds of things. But again, your calls drive the conversation. So for listeners, regular listeners of For the People, a reminder, the call-in number is not our traditional 753-5868 studio line. There is an independent, separate 800 number that we'll be giving out at the start of the hour at 6 o'clock for the direct link event. That is because this is simultaneously broadcast throughout the state of Utah. So the questions won't just come from Cache Valley, but Cache Valley listeners, since you're hearing the announcement from me here on KVNU, you get a little tip, if you will. So listen for that independent from our studio line 800 number at the start of the direct link event at 6 o'clock tonight in just a few minutes. So earlier this week, I mentioned on the show that lawmakers, we may get some questions about this tonight on Direct Link as well. Lawmakers plan to revisit artificial intelligence, specifically a updating and expanding a package of bills that were passed earlier this year in the 2024 session, revisiting that in the 2025 session. This package of bills from earlier this year were basically some bare bones framework and guardrails for artificial intelligence as it might be applied in every setting from consumerism and marketing to politics and healthcare, even therapy services. There's a lot of concern. Some of the stories we've seen make me think and make lawmakers think, I think rightly so, that artificial intelligence might not be where its makers and backers are claiming it is, as far as reliability, as far as its potential application. But even if that is the case now, and I think that is, soon they'll refine it. And at that point, you're going to see efforts to employ it in chatbot scenarios for healthcare and mental health, in scenarios where artificial intelligence is being used to create marketing or even to create fake people for marketing. Kind of scary to think about. And Utah currently had no until 2024 regulations along these lines. Like, what happens if a product maker uses artificial intelligence to create a fake video of one of their competitors? But they do it in a way that doesn't run afoul of normal consumer protection laws, but it's still fake, and consumers might not know that to disparage one of their competitors or make them look bad. So should there be rules along those lines? That was one of the debates earlier this year. So they'll be getting back to that in 2025, expanding the Artificial Intelligence Act, as it was called here in Utah. And in light of that, last week, ahead of an event that happened at Utah State University on Friday, as part of the Science Unwrapped series, there was a presentation given to the public and students there last Friday on campus on artificial intelligence. And it was both fascinating and scary at the same time. But we had a chance to talk with Dr. Brenya Kohler ahead of that event last Friday, and she addressed the urgency of not just in politics and public policy, but even in the academic world, the urgency of wrapping our heads around the artificial intelligence that is not any longer speculative science fiction trope, but a reality. Here's what Dr. Kohler had to say about that urgency.
Yeah, it's a topic that we definitely all have a lot of curiosity about. And Dr. Lawson uses artificial intelligence in his research on air quality. So he'll define for the audience, exactly what it is, and he has some really engaging demonstrations to share with us as well.
Dr. Kohler said in the academic world, the applications of artificial intelligence are nearly endless, but there are ethical questions in that world as well. When is it appropriate for a researcher, for example, to use artificial intelligence in a research project? And might that cause concerns or create concerns that, for lack of a better word, cheating is a little bit easier now with artificial intelligence. Not cheating that fabricates a result or a report or a conclusion of a study, but cheating as far as, did you really do this research? Well, no, I actually ran it through an analytical model that artificial intelligence made possible. And so therefore I didn't actually do the research, but we're going to trust that this software did the analysis right. Dr. Kohler said that is a very real concern right now in the academic world. It's not happening right now, but what if artificial intelligence advances to the point where it could?
In fact, Dr. Lawson is a meteorologist, really, but because of his extensive use of data, he has a lot of collaborations with statisticians, data scientists, and he knows quite a lot about mathematical modeling. So we're really happy that, in fact, the whole series is celebrating collaborative research. So our theme is called Joining Forces, and we've had scientists talk about how they work across disciplines for new discoveries and advancing research.
That was, again, an interview we did with Dr. Brenya Kohler, who is the chair of Science Unwrapped this year, about the overall Science Unwrapped series. Every Friday night throughout the fall and spring, the public, students, anyone invited to these free events. And again, last Friday, they had a great conversation on artificial intelligence. If you missed that, by the way, the video does eventually make its way to the Science Unwrapped website, which is usu.edu/unwrapped. And there you have alternate topics planned for the rest of the events throughout the year. But Dr. Kohler did tell us that discussions about artificial intelligence are going to be popping up more and more. In fact, there is an event planned in the spring where researchers who are actually using artificial intelligence, as Dr. Lawson, the subject of last Friday's Science Unwrapped, presented, to understand everything from weather patterns to the way that we all consume and store our own data. And that's amazing that software, artificial intelligence, poorly named, let's be honest, it's not actual intelligence yet, but it's close. And so we're just going to run with the name, I guess. But Dr. Kohler said there are so many examples of where this is being used in ways that apply to everyone's kitchen table, from the weather reports you see, data and analytical data use primarily. That's been a part of your evening weather reports on your television news. The weather reports that we broadcast here every hour from the National Weather Service. We've been using data, statistical analysis, all of this forever. There's nothing new about that. But Dr. Kohler said part of this presentation and part of the discussion happening in academia around artificial intelligence is, okay, but what about when it expands beyond that? When we're not just using data, we're not just using statistical analysis, we're now to the point where we've got software that can do this analysis and run through a much larger batch of statistics in seconds and then tell you what the weather's going to be. But the problem is with artificial intelligence is biases can slip in. Artificial intelligence can also create a false narrative. That's a problem they've had, where the software, when proven wrong, actually gets arrogant and starts arguing with its creators, saying, no, you are wrong. What does that mean for the academic world? What does that mean for anything involving statistical analysis, from highway traffic safety data to the meteorological data that produces the weather reports we offer here on KVNU every hour?
We can test the line.
Really kind of opens your brain to the way artificial intelligence could be
Will,
a very, very amazing tool
computer is logged down
and the next technological revolution.
Jackson?
Yeah,
or
I can hear you great.
Okay.
something that
All right.
goes
can I
really
send
wrong.
you some program down the line and you tell me if you can hear
That's
it?
all of us spending
please.
the next
That'd be
decade
great.
trying to
Thank you
clean
so
up
much.
the mess and avoid disinformation as we already deal with on the social media platforms. Now imagine that disinformation seeping its way into the evening 10 o'clock
All right,
news
that's all I
for
needed
those
to
who
know.
get the news
Thank you.
that way.
Okay, yep, and the
It's
speaker
a frightening
will,
thing
will
to think
probably
about.
jump
But
on and
as Dr.
cater some
Kohler said,
minutes
as
from a
Dr.
separate
Lawson
laptop.
presented at the event last Friday, we can avoid
Jackson,
this.
just so that
but
you know,
we need to wrap
and
our
if you
heads
want to
around
pass
the
along to the
possibilities,
speaker,
both positive
so
and
the
negative
chat, if they'll
possibilities
pull
of
up the
artificial
chat
intelligence
window,
first. And that's going to
I
require
will put
all of us getting up to speed very quick because this technology has developed
2
so
to 3
quickly.
words as to what they're
and that's what
calling
Utah
about,
lawmakers are doing
just so
as well,
that
trying to,
he
in the
has
public policy
some
world,
inclination
get
of
up
what
to
that,
speed and look at
what the call
potential
will be about.
regulations in advance.
That's
something
great. And
Utah
question
lawmakers
for you
are
real
usually
quick. I know
not keen
I
on,
called earlier.
but they
Is
recognize
the
the
call-in
potential
number,
and the
is it a
risks of
different
artificial
call-in number than the
intelligence.
normal one
And
for
so
KVN
keep an eye on
News?
this one. If you'd like to see the presentation given
that
last
is a
Friday at Science
good
Unwrapped
question.
again, keep an eye on the
So
Science Unwrapped
we did
website. They
have
usually
a
post the
toll-free
video within a
number
week
that
or
we
two
were
of the
using for
event,
a while.
and you can actually watch it if you missed it.
I don't
and that is
know if that's still the plan. Let me
usu/unwrapped.
see if
And then, of course,
Michelle
keep an eye
will
on their
come on
calendar.
here in
They
a
have
minute
more events
and
planned
tell
throughout
me
the
if,
spring,
that
starting back up in
toll-free number
January,
is
I
still
believe,
active.
after the holiday
Otherwise,
break
we'll
here.
just use our
and
number.
amazing stuff and
Because-
free and
And-
open to the public. And one of the benefits of having Utah State University
Yeah,
right here in our own backyard.
435-753-5868.
A reminder coming up at 6 o'clock, direct link
You know,
with
did anyone
Governor
ever
Cox,
tell you you
but
have a voice
this
for radio?
month, direct link with House Speaker Mike Schultz stepping
I
in
guess
for the governor.
doing
and
something
that
right for
conversation will be
24
driven by
years, who
your
knows?
calls. We'll throw that 800
Now,
number,
Jason
which is
Williams
good
will be the host.
statewide for those listening
I'll be
on
screening the
other
calls.
broadcasts. And that will start
and
at
he'll
6 o'clock
kind of give
tonight,
the
right after we
speaker
wrap for
some
the people.
cues
But
every
you're
once
welcome
in
to
a while
call
if
it
we need to break.
a bonus hour
And,
for the
and
people
then
if
I'll
you
give
choose.
some
Again, that
commands
starts
down
at
the
6
line. It's
o'clock.
just
We'll be
hey,
back,
you know
though,
what? Here's
with more of
where we're at on
KVN
the
News
commercial break.
for
Here's
the
how
people.
long the
Wrap
commercial
things up
break
today
lasts.
on a light note. Give you something to chuckle about right after this.
Hey, ask your question. Do they have like a limit for the
Hey golfers, Black Friday at Birch Creek is going on now. Punch passes, $150 bucks. All remaining golf shirts and shoes, half price. All remaining golf hats, $15. All remaining golf bags, 25% off. Black Friday at Birch Creek runs through Friday, November 29th. A limited number of $150 punch passes will be sold. That's Birch Creek Golf Course in Smithfield.
And then I'll
this
actually
holiday
pull
season,
them
we're
down.
grateful for you at Murdoch Volkswagen.
And
Let's
then
celebrate
that way
together during our Season of
we
Giving
don't
sales event.
have
We're grateful
them
for your trust,
kind of
your loyalty, and the
trying
moments
to
you've shared with
take
us.
over the show.
Right now, receive 0% for 60
No, that's
months
a great process,
or 1.9% for 72 months on a new 2024
So
Tiguan.
yeah, that's
when you
that's
walk
kind of
through
the
our
plan
doors,
at this,
you feel like
this
family.
point. So
At Murdoch Volkswagen in
and
Logan
it'll
or
kind of
online
depend.
at
So in the
murdochbw.com.
past,
Call
we have had
888-391-6083 or see dealer for complete details. Offer
had
expires
so many calls that we
11/30/24.
just had to stop
Disasters
answering
don't wait for a convenient
the phone.
time. When the unexpected strikes,
and then at
call
other
the
times,
trusted team at Blue
we
Sky.
had just a couple
Remember,
calls.
Blue Sky
It
is
just
that
really
same
kind of
great
depends.
ARS team you know
So,
and trust.
you know,
This
if
is Tom
we
with
only
Blue
have
Sky
just a
Restoration.
couple,
When
then
disaster
we
strikes, whether
might-
it's a flood, fire,
yeah, we'll
load
allow
damage,
we'll
or
allow
an
the callers
unforeseen
a
accident,
little bit more
Blue Sky will
leeway
clean up,
there.
repair, and restore your home or business like it was before.
So-
No disaster is too big
And
or
one
too
thing,
small. For all
if
your
you ever
restoration
need-
needs,
if
you can
there's
trust
ever
our
just
Blue
some,
Sky team.
down
Kick
moment,
off the
you need
holiday
something
season at the Christmas
talk
Tree
about,
Jubilee, presented by
speakers
DWA
really good
Construction.
on sort of
Join us
higher
Monday,
end.
November 25th from 2 to 6 p.m. at the Riverwoods Conference Center. Experience the magic as you browse and bid on beautifully
always good to
decorated
talk about
Christmas
that.
trees and wreaths of
Great.
all shapes
Yeah,
and sizes.
yeah, no, that would be
100% of all
excellent.
proceeds directly
Okay.
benefit classrooms in the Cache
I'm
County
gonna
School
go
District.
quiet for just a
Don't miss
second,
this
Jackson,
free,
but if you need
heartwarming
anything
event
else,
where the joy of
I'll
the
be back in a
season
minute.
meets the spirit of giving. The Christmas Tree Jubilee.
Jubilee, Monday from 2 to 6.
My husband had a gun. Him and his friends would go shooting. When he stored the gun, he didn't know. In a million years, we never thought that Emily could. There's a hole in our family that can never, ever be filled.
65 Americans a day die by gun suicide. Safe gun storage saves lives. Learn more at endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by Brady and the Ad Council.
Saturday, the Aggies host San Diego State on Merlin Olsen Field.
A complete dominating performance as Utah State will win this game.
KVNU is your home for the best game coverage with pregame at 11:30, kickoff at 1:30, and postgame and Aggie Call immediately after the game.
It's all about getting up the next day until you continue to turn the page and make things happen. So that's what we plan to do.
It's the Aggies and the Aztecs, Saturday afternoon on News Talk KVNU, the heritage home for the Aggies.
Welcome back to KVNU's For the People. A reminder coming up at 6 o'clock tonight, Direct Link. This is an event Governor Cox started years and years ago when first elected to his first term to take things out of Salt Lake City and the Wasatch Front. There was a long-running event called Speak to the Governor that every governor dating back to the late 90s or early 90s has hosted, but they always hosted it on Salt Lake City media because, that's an easier drive for them from the Capitol. And it oftentimes would be filled with callers and questions very centered on Salt Lake City and the surrounding areas of the Wasatch Front and Utah County. So Governor Cox said he wanted to still do that, but he wanted to do another thing, and they decided to call it Direct Link, working with Utah broadcasters in rural areas, radio stations like us. He wanted to travel the state. Now, sometimes that's meant physically traveling to the studio, but when that's not possible, they've come up with a very, honestly, complicated system of doing this remotely. And then there is a dedicated 800 number different than our studio lines. So at 6 o'clock for Direct Link, do not call our studio line 753-5868. There will be a different 800 number announced at 6 o'clock for this statewide event, with a focus on rural areas like Cache County, Ridge County, Box Elder County. One other catch, this episode of Direct Link starting at 6 o'clock here on KVNU, we've been honored to be invited to host again, and we're excited to do that. So I'll be kind of moderating and keeping time and things like that with production staff here in the studio. The callers, though, will come from all around the state. And this month, instead of Governor Cox, who's unavailable, House Speaker Mike Schultz will be joining us. He hails from the Weber County area, longtime Republican in the Utah House, but now into his second term as Utah House Speaker. And so he'll be taking the governor's spot tonight. We'll be talking water, artificial intelligence, and anything else that our listeners come up with to ask him about. So, again, not our studio line for this, though. You want to dial the 800 number that will be announced at 6 o'clock as Direct Link starts. So, wrapping up today's show with, I said before the break there that we'd wrap up with something to give you a laugh. And I got thinking about it. Sometimes stories like this don't give me a laugh. Sometimes they make me angry. And then I remind myself to care about the things you can control. But this is the story of a viral piece of art that was recently auctioned for $1 million. Now, $1 million in the art collector world that is mainly full of very wealthy people isn't really a lot. But for this specific, quote-unquote, work of art titled Comedian by Italian prankster artist Maurizio Catalan, $1 million will blow your mind. Why? Because this work of art is a actual banana duct taped to a wall. I'm not kidding. The commentary around this work of art that went viral on social media originally when photos and video were posted from an art show in New York a couple of years ago have centered around, is this a prank? Is this a commentary on, there's been speculation that the artist is making a commentary on the exploitative history of the banana, which that is actual history, from human trafficking to human rights violations. The banana is at the center of some controversial history. And so was the artist, making a social statement where the artist has so far remained silent, only referring to it as a conceptual work of art that, like any piece of art, can be interpreted by each individual viewer. This banana taped to a wall originally, but here's the ridiculous part. The banana obviously can't stay there forever. The duct tape as well is going to need to be replaced. Anyone could walk out and duct tape a banana to a wall and say, I bought this viral work of art called Comedian by this Italian artist. Who would know, right? Well, that's what makes this so ridiculous. Somehow it still got so popular and the bidding war was so intense that at a November 20th, today, auction in, let's see, this is Sotheby's auction. It sold for $1.5 million. Someone bought a banana tape, and there isn't actually a banana tape to a wall. What they're buying is the right to say they own that work of art. So they go take their own banana to a wall with their own strip of duct tape. But since they paid almost $1.5 million for it, they can have paperwork that says they own that easily recreatable work of art. This is one of the there have been a lot, but this is one of the most ridiculous. Rich people have too much money and time on their hands. Stories out of the art collector world that I remember, and that's saying a lot.
So. My name is Will, and I'll be screening calls. And I will, if you pull up the chat
and art
window,
commentators,
which if you look along the bottom icons, there should be a chat one.
Far less ridiculous.
So just click on that. That'll bring up the chat
for a banana tape to a wall with a piece of duct tape that has to be replaced on the regular.
Just saying, hey, we have a caller. Their name is so and so, and they are calling basically
so
about
anyone again could go
education. They're calling about taxes. Just so you kind of have a general idea of
some
where
of the commentary
the
around this has been almost as hilarious as the piece of art
Williams
itself, including, I'm going to read this to you, a serious art columnist wrote
and Jason Williams,
the Atlantic
our host,
magazine,
who you can
Comedian
see right
isn't
there
just a tool
on
for
the camera.
understanding the insular capitalist art collecting world.
Taking
it's
care
also
of the show,
a tool
and
to
he'll
understand
give you
the long history of the banana
cues
and
from
the
time to time, just saying, hey, we need to take a
world
break
market for certain fruits in general.
Maybe wrap it up.
Maybe.
We do
Maybe
have
this artist
somewhat of a
just
clock
wanted to
that
see
we're
if
kind of
people would pay
following along.
$1.5 million
It just
for a
has
banana
commercial
duct tape
breaks
to a
that we
wall,
just
and
have
it
to
turns
squeeze
out
in.
the answer is they
other
will.
than that, this is just a chance to
check it out. A link to the story with photos on our Facebook
answer
page.
questions from
up
people
next
throughout
here
the
on
state.
KVNU Logan. Direct link with House Speaker Mike Schultz right after this.
You're welcome. So we will begin at 6 after the hour. And actually, we've already had a few calls that called in ahead of
Keeping you
time, and they're going to
informed
be calling back in.
24/7.